Today's episode is a book summary on The War of Art, Breaking Through the Blocks and Win Your Inner Creative Battles by Steven Pressfield. I'd like to give a shout out to Jamie, a friend that asked if I had read this book before, and I hadn't. So she said she'd send me a copy. A few days later, it came in the mail. And so thank you so much, Jamie. I thoroughly loved the book, and I'm sharing a brief summary and what I took away from it in this episode. The War of Art is a book aimed towards all inspiring visionaries, entrepreneurs, and artists. Anyone really who is trying to find their true gifts and purpose in this world. It is a true slap in the face of what is really keeping us from achieving our dreams, spending time on our passions, and doing things we are meant to do. It calls us out on all the things that we've been putting off by getting stuck in the spiral of procrastination, which Steven Pressfield describes as our enemy, resistance. He also gives a plan for how to deal with resistance and a vision of what it is like to have defeated the enemy and live out our callings, our true purpose in which we were put on this earth to do. I'm going to start at the end of the book with the vision of what life looks like when we live out our calling. I call it being in alignment with my head and my heart, being open to listening to my inner being and my intuition. Stephen Pressfield calls it angels or the muse, which can be any invisible psychic force that supports and sustains us in our journey toward finding ourselves, our true purpose. Call it your talents or your gifts from God, the inspirations that whisper to you in the shower or while you're out walking in nature, your sixth sense, whatever speaks to you. This invisible force can be drawn to you like a magnet when you sit down and do your work, the work you are called to do, what you're created to do. Stephen talks about invoking the muse by saying a prayer before starting. I think of it as a prayer from God, a prayer to God, my higher power, to use me as a vessel to do his work, setting an intention for what I am going to do at that time. It's magical what happens. By opening up ourselves as a vessel, God and the angels can work through us to give us just what we need to hear, uniting ourselves with the higher power to produce what God wants, allowing it to flow through us to be a gift to the world. But we often resist it. As Steven Pressfield explains in the first part of his book, resistance is the enemy. We all experience it each and every day. But what is it? Resistance is self-sabotage. It's an invisible force that can only be felt, not seen, touched, heard, or smelled. It's internal. It doesn't care who you are. No one can escape it. It never goes away. It lies to you. It will recruit others to keep you from shining your light. Resistance wants you to play small, to doubt yourself, to make you unhappy, restless, bored, depressed, or even party all night. Resistance does not want you to succeed, does not want you to be inspired to do your work. Resistance plays full out, especially when we're getting close to winning. Resistance doesn't want you to win. Resistance is also fear. Fear that if we do this thing we feel called to do, we're being selfish. We won't be able to support our families. We'll go broke. We will fail. We will be throwing away all of our education, training, and preparation, all that hard work, time, and money that we got to from this point. We will become estranged from all our friends and family and all that we know. We fear that we will be alone. But the real fear is the fear of success, fear that we are more than we think of, more than we think we are, that we actually have the gifts and perseverance to be the captain of our ship and become who we truly are and meant to be. We fear becoming our authentic self. If resistance is fear and self-sabotage, what does resistance really want us to do? What is the purpose of resistance? According to Pressfield, resistance wants us to do anything but our work. Resistance distracts us. How? We put things off. We tackle the never-ending to-do list of little tasks that we determine are more important than our work. Doing laundry, cleaning the pantry, dusting the china, checking our email, our text, social media, comparing ourselves to others, and then getting jealous. It also shows up as addictions. Addictions to sugar, fat, salt, chocolate, drugs, gambling, alcohol, TV, video games, and even sex. As all these things, by either doing them or just being preoccupied with the thought of it, provides immediate gratification that steals our time and attention away from doing our work. Resistance can also show up as trouble by drawing attention to ourselves, or with drama by creating soap operas out of our lives, or by playing victim and being passive aggressive, and in whom we choose to hang around with, usually people who have overcome resistance, so we don't have to. Or we hang around people that have overcome resistance, hoping that their success rubs off on us without us really having to do anything. Resistance shows up as anything that draws our attention away from our working our gift and doing what we were put on this earth to do, or anything that keeps us from learning, growing, and evolving is the enemy, is resistance. So what can we do about resistance? Steven Pressfield explains that we need to turn pro. We need to turn into professionals who commit full time to their gift out of the love for it because it's our vocation, what we are called to do. Being a professional means we do the work. If we're a writer, we write every day. If we're a painter, we paint every day. It doesn't matter if we feel like it or not. We are dedicated to the skill of getting better, the skill and the promise of starting the work. A professional sees themselves as a corporation, a boss of themselves, and conducts weekly business meetings with themselves to set priorities for the week, to know what is most important and to do that first. Being a pro means showing up every day, no matter what. A pro is committed to the long term. They love to work, but they're also patient. Knowing their masterpiece, their gift takes time and refinement. It's a craft, and it takes time to master the various skills and techniques involved. A professional knows resistance, fear, and self-sabotage is a daily battle and is organized and prepared for it. A professional doesn't take criticism or rejection, success or failure, or anything personally, because in doing so, it allows resistance to win. Every situation, comment, or experience is something to learn and grow from. A professional is tough-minded, but not afraid to ask for help and to bring others whose expertise and gifts are different from their own. The best in the world know the value of a mentor or a coach. As Steven Pressfield said in his book, there is no mystery to turning pro. It's a decision brought about by an act of will. We make up our minds to view ourselves as pro, and we do it. I found this book, The War of Art by Steven Pressfield, validating. It validated my thoughts, feelings, and beliefs that God has entrusted me with a special gift that only He has spoken to me. Even though it may sound or look like others are doing the same thing, no one else can do it just like me, in my words that have been inspired by Him, and the way I present the information, or by the intonation of my voice. It also validates my love for learning and sharing, that I can make it my own, that I don't have to follow the exact steps that someone else did. That was their creative spin, not mine. I need to showcase my gift, my way, that is being authentic to me and the calling that I was given. As I reflect on times when I thought I presented information well, I evoked divine help. I prayed. I set intentions. I asked for inspiration, courage, and strength. I got still. I quieted my mind in order to be able to hear what God was telling me, to be able to hear my gut feelings, my intuition, the guiding light from the angels sent by God. We have all of this inside of us. We all have it. How are you listening? What are you believing about yourself? Are you believing you are meant for more? That God is calling you to something more, to shine your light? Or are you letting fear dim your light, make you run away or hide from your light? This is a daily battle. Recognize the enemy. Recognize how resistance shows up in your life and take a stand. Don't let resistance win the day. Figure out what is most important. Don't wait until your deathbed to realize it's time to embrace your gift and give it back to the world. Find it now. Do it now. Live your life. Embrace your gifts God has given you. Shine your light for all to see. Thank you for listening to my summary of the book, The War of Art by Steven Pressfield. Have a great day.